It was Carty, he just waited for it, it was tossed up to him, and he just drove it all along the carpet between the bowler and the mid-on fielder who was right there, but it hit very hard and it rushed into the boundary for 4.
Yes, floated up at, flighted and brought up to a half volley, so the batsman only had to step forward and...
Khan is in, and this time Carty is playing defensively into the straightish mid-wicket region to end the over. 76 for 1, the score has gone on to Carty's on to 23 and Hodge on 38.
Yes, Moti Khan has been getting the ball to turn a little. However, he's been pushing it through. When he elected to flight it, though, he brought it a little too close to the batsman, and he was able to execute that on drive for 4 runs. Now, you mentioned about the breeze, and Moti Khan, if he could get some flight, he could probably also get some drift off of the pitch and force maybe some error among the from the batsmen, maybe hoping to get a breakthrough from this partnership.
This is Pestano. He's in, and this is played defensively outside the line of the off stump. On the line of the off stump, the batsman playing it defensively back along the pitch, and there is no run. So the partnership now 63 between Carty and Hodge. Good partnership this for the Leeward Islands, and this is what the Leeward Islands will have to do if they're going to create a big score against the Guyanese team. They're going to have to build partnerships. Pestano is moving in now, he's in, and bowl outside the line of the off stump, just watches it as it goes by, is Hodge into the gloves of Bramble behind the stumps, and there is no run. So 1 or 2 more spectators would have come in since the luncheon interval, and those who are listening to us here in Antigua and Barbuda, especially those pensioners who probably have a little more time on their hand and want an exciting activity to do during the day, they can make this cricket the activity, and it's free to enter here in Antigua and Barbuda. This is Pestano in, ball to the batsman in Hodge, and Hodge is just hurried into a stroke, getting it into the backward square leg region. The fielder on the boundary comes in, as lobs the throw back to Bramble, and they come through for a single. Hodge is on to 39, Carty's on 23, comes into strike, takes the partnership on to 64, 77. It is for 1, 77 for 1, the Leeward Islands. The game started late this morning because of a mishap with the pitch, but they've very much in session now, and this is driven beautifully through the mid-wicket region by Carty for 4. It was pulled down hard into the pitch by Pestano, and with just a check stroke, he just got in line and almost with just a flick of the wrist, got it past the man at the straightish mid-wicket position and out to a wide long-on position, and that's 4 runs. Beautiful stroke.
You know what was impressive about that shot is that initially he shaped as if it was going to bounce a little more, and after he realized that it wasn't going to bounce as much as he did, he just made a slight adjustment, short arm jab, push it away through mid-wicket, and ended up with 4 beautiful looking runs.
Was exquisite timing as well. Really didn't have a full flow of the bat, didn't swing the bat, just a check drive, but at a race through the mid-wicket region for 4. Pestano tries once more, he's in, and this delivery, Carty's covering up, playing it defensively up to the mid-on fielder, and there is no run.
And one of the things, when you see someone make an adjustment like that and still execute and get those type of runs from a shot after making an adjustment, it sort of speaks to the batsman having a good eye, 1, and 2, being in good form.
Good form, and he had a century in the last match that he played for the Leeward Islands, so should be in good form. Casey Carty, he faces up now as Pestano is into him, and he's driving, scrape the wicket, diving, stopped by the fielder at backward point. That looks to be Shanda Paul. Had that one gotten past him? No, that's not Shanda Paul. Looks to be probably Singh, who was there diving away to his right and stopping what would have been runs for Casey Carty. The end of the over has come up, 81 for 1. Hodge is on 36. Carty, he has moved on to 27.
Yes, and from the way he played that shot, you could see that he's also growing in confidence in his innings. Obviously, that first game, that century behind his name would have built some confidence, but coming into this game, you could see he was showing a little more purpose than Munson Hodge earlier in the innings in terms of his stroke play. And so I believe that he is feeling very confident, and hopefully we will see another big innings from him today.
Hopefully we'll see another big innings. That was the hope. I'm sure even in his mind, this is Kudakesh Motikan continuing. Here is this delivery on the back foot and stroking it straight to the fielder at that cover position is Munson Hodge.
Is that Khan or Permal? It's the board is saying Permal.
Oh, there's been a change. So, correction, Permal is the bowler. Here is this delivery outside the line of the off stump and allowing it to go into the gloves of the wicket keeper. And there's no run. We'll just confirm. The board is saying that it's Permal. And of course, we always want to trust what the scoreboard is saying. So Permal is in, and this delivery is played defensively back along the pitch for the fielder moving from short extra cover to do the fielding, and there is no run.
I believe it is Permal.
Permal is in, left arm around the wicket. The action does look like Permal. This delivery is allowed to go into the gloves of the wicket keeper Bramble, and there is no run. Bramble with the helmet on for the spin of Permal. He has just one slip, a man at backward point. Cover extra covered mid-off, he's in. This delivery is steered away into the offside field, straight to the field at short extra cover, and there's no run. There's a mid-on, a straightish mid-wicket, a man at the short leg position, and a man at the backward square. This delivery is into the offside field, and there is no run.
And that's the end of the over. Very quick over, I should say. Permal trying to keep it steady, pushing it through, trying to keep the batsman in check, ensuring that they do not score freely. Maybe he might be better served flighting it up a little bit, but at this moment, I think he's more interested in keeping the batsman in check and not allowing them to score. But in this type of game, you really are looking wickets more so than keeping the batsman in check.
You would want to get wickets because you have to get wickets at regular intervals if you're going to keep the score down, and you wouldn't want the Leeward Islands to get away to a big score. They're in a pretty solid position so far, 81 for 1, and the Leewards, I think, would be happy with the score that they've been able to produce so far. They've done something that they want to do to get a partnership going, and this is a partnership between Carty and Hodge. So far it says 67 on the scoreboard, and this is a partnership that the Leeward Islands would want to continue as long as possible to try and build that big total. The Guyana team,
yes, you've already gotten a start and you've had 67 runs. No need to give away a wicket now, but continue to build on that foundation.
So Shepherd is coming back in his change, and he's now coming from the Sir Curtly Ambrose end. He's moving in now with that smooth run up. He's in the first delivery. He's hammered into the pitch, rising on the right-handed Casey Carty. Just got on top of it and played it into the back into the point region. Where's the man who's standing at square cover does the fielding, and there is no run.
Yeah, no real pace in that delivery. Probably just loosening up after lunch. We're not sure if he had a big lunch or a small lunch, but just lumbering in, I guess, trying to get himself loose before he tries to exploit what the pitch has for him.
Shepherd is in. Here is he in. This is again hammered into the pitch, just probably trying to see what the pitch has to offer. The umpire walks and shows him that signal that they give now. Kenny Benjamin says that's the signal that was invented to kill fast bowling. The one that says one over the shoulder. He's not a fan of that signal at all. As a matter of fact, he's not a fan of that rule.
I'm not a fan neither, but I always think that if the fast bowler can get it up under the rib cage, then there's no need for the umpire to signal that one over the shoulder. Not many batsmen like it there.
Here we watch as Shepherd is in and Carty is getting a better delivery, one that is short of a length but has him on the back foot and looking to force it through the offside field, hits it into the cover region, and there is no run. So Kenny Benjamin's shirt reads Liberta Blackhawks, and we understand that they're a decent enough cricket team. His face changes when I said decent enough, because he's saying that they're an excellent cricket team and a decent football team, you're saying? and that net ball. So you're running a club. He says has a club and he's trying to build a band called Blackhawks. This delivery is short again and pulled away down to deep backward square by Casey Carty. He just got on top of it and rolled the arms as he hit that one down to deep backward square for a single. So Shepherd clearly has a plan that he's going to be bowling short to Carty. Maybe something that he's noticed or the Guyanese might have talked about during the luncheon interval.
Well, we'll see what it is, if it's exploitable, if Carty is in a situation where he can be exploited, or if he will take advantage of those short pitch deliveries.
We watch as this is Shepherd in. This time is right up to the batsman, a Yorker length almost to Hodge. Hodge just whipping it away into the onside field for a single down to deep backward square. Hodge definitely wanted, just from his reaction, he wanted to get that a lot straighter into the mid-wicket region. Got probably on the inner portion of the bat and ran down to deep backward square. So there is just a single. 83 for 1. Hodge is on to 40. Carty is on 28. Carty is on strike. We see how Shepherd reacts. Here is his Shepherd in to bowl to Carty. And Carty's edging and caught behind. So short of a length, just outside the line of the off stump, he hung the bat at it. The edge found, good catch taken by Bramble. The plan seemed to have worked because they were bowling him short and then he got one just short of a length. Carty was caught hanging the bat out in the offside field. The catch is taken. He walks back to the pavilion, and Leeward Islands Hurricanes now losing their second wicket. The 83 for 2. Carty caught Bramble off the bowling of Shepherd, and he was made 28.
Yeah, you could see some sense of disappointment from Carty, but he should be disappointed in himself and how he approached that shot just a while ago. His footwork was not there. He tried to play the cut shot, but he just basically stood up. Ball seemed to cut back at him. He didn't make the adjustment, just hung his bat out there, came off the edge, the shoulder of the bat, and quite a regulation catch for the keeper. But I'm sure Guyana will be happy for this breakthrough. 83 for 2. I think Leewards are still in the position of ascendancy here, but then Guyana would want to believe that with this wicket they could make further inroads into the team, and with a new batsman coming out, you never know, they may decide to attack, and with attack you never know, with the batsman trying to get himself set and played in, they can try or push for further success.
They would want to push for further success, and they would want to think that now they have the Leeward Islands team on the go, as the Leeward Islands new batter is coming in as they continue.
Looks like Devon Thomas.
Is that Devon Thomas, the captain?
Yes.
Devon Thomas, the captain who has come in. Looks as if he's put on a bit of weight. Looks a little bigger than the last time I saw him. Here is this delivery from Pramal as he starts a new over. The batsman not pushing forward again, trapped on the creases. The batsman in Hodge, and you tend to think that if Hodge misses one of those deliveries, could be in some trouble because he's not pushing out, pushing forward whatsoever. Here is he again playing from the crease. When we look at it from this direction, his front foot is literally on the front line of the crease, which means that he's not getting too far forward as he played that stroke. No run scored, still 83 for 2. Here is Pramal around the wicket, outside the line of the off stump. This time the batsman does not have to offer a stroke. Slow turn. It touched down just on about the off stump, maybe just outside the off stump, and turned into away from the batsman into the gloves of Bramble. He just watched it as it go by. Here is he facing up, and again just watching this one, judging this one well, picking the line up early and just watching it into the gloves of Bramble.
Not much flight there. Pretty much a flat trajectory so far in this spell.
He's been bowling pretty flat. Here is he in, and this again another flat fast delivery outside the line of the off stump. The batsman just watches the ball as it goes by into the gloves of Bramble, and there's no run. 83 for 2. Hodge is on 40. Devon Thomas yet to face. Stands akimbo at the non-strikers end, as here is Pramal in to Hodge, and Hodge was just looking to flash that one away. He got a rush of blood as that one was a little bit shorter from Pramal, outside the line of the off-stump, was looking to cut it away, didn't play it well, and there's no run. The end of the over has come up. At the end of it, the Hurricanes are 83 for 2. Hodge is on 40. Devon Thomas, the captain, yet to score.
Yes, not only was that last delivery flat, but it was also wide, and I think he wanted to capitalize on the width to get some runs. It's incumbent now on Hodge to take stock of his innings also, and for the time that he would have put in to play all of those deliveries to play himself in, it is important that he sticks around there and builds on that 40 runs that he has produced so far to build a very large score, because it would be important for the Leewards for them to get a big score the first innings of the match and then try to press home the advantage.
Wouldn't want to give away his hand at this time after being there all morning. He was there for the pre-luncheon interval, and so he would want to continue on. Devon Thomas is about to face his first delivery from Shepherd, and Shepherd gives him a rising delivery. Thomas gets on top of it and drops it into the offside field, and there is no run. So Shepherd trying to bowl quickly, and I like that. I like the effort that he's putting in, looking to really hustle the new batsman in Devon Thomas, and the captain has decided with a new batter that he's going to thought that he was going to put in a slip, but he's moved the man from mid-on and has sent him down to a third-man position. So he has 2 slips and a gully as they go down now, as Shepherd runs in to bowl to Devon Thomas. Thomas gets a good delivery again, one that's coming back at him from outside the line of the off-stump. He just shuffles into line and plays the ball defensively back along the pitch. The wicketkeeper moves from behind the stumps to do the fielding, and there's no run. 83 for 2. So, Devon Thomas, somebody that we thought had, or people think have a lot of promise, but has really not lived up to the full billing that his talent certainly suggests. Here is he facing up now as Shepherd comes in to bowl to him, and he's pulling this one down to backward of square. He's not going to get the boundaries. There's a fielder down on the forward square boundary, but was running around to do the fielding, and he gets his first run. He's off the mark. He's on 1. Hodge comes in to strike. He's on 40. The Hurricanes, they're 84 for 2.
Yes, a well-played pull shot. Not too much flourish in it, but sort of reminiscent of how the great Gordon Greenidge used to play them. Almost on one leg. Yes.
Play that pull stroke.
Yep.
Here we watch as Shepherd comes in to bowl to Hodge. Hodge gets a delivery that's pitched up and is pushing it past the mid-on region. It's running pretty close to the boundary. There's a fielder giving chase, running for all his work, but the ball has enough to get into the boundary now. Shandapal only coming to retrieve, and that's 4 runs to Munson Hodge, and 4 more to the Leeward Islands. It's now 88 for 2, and Hodge moves on to 44 runs. That was a good stroke.
Yes, I call that a teaser. You know, he played with enough power to give the fielder or the thought that he had a chance to pick it up, but it just beat him into the boundary, and you could see him smiling as he got to the boundary.
Because he thought that he had a chance. At one point he was thinking of giving up, and the ball was slow, and here is this delivery pulled away down to the fine leg region, and we'll see it's for 4 runs. It was a short delivery from the bowler, and just pivoting was Hodge and pulling it away down to the fine leg region and picked up a good boundary. It was well away from the fielder who's posted at long leg, and the ball bouncing probably once or twice into the boundary, and 4 runs to Hodge. He's on to 48, and the Leeward Islands up to 92 for 2.
Yes, that was a badly directed bouncer. Secondly, Romario Shepherd doesn't really have that much pace, and as he starts to telegraph those deliveries, they're going to start picking him off.
Here we watch as he's in, and another short delivery. This time the batter is pulling this one into the mid-wicket region. They get 1. Hodge, they come back for the second run. The fielder, who was in the square leg region, comes into the mid-wicket region and can't prevent the batsman from getting 2 runs. 50 for Munson Hodge. The Leeward Islands are on 94 for 2. Hodge gets his 50. Thomas is on 1. Vinci, good 50 made by Munson Hodge under the circumstances.
Yes, I would say good 50 under the circumstances. The fact that he stayed so long to get himself in, he decided that he wasn't going to let that time that he spent at the crease go to waste. He has now capitalized and scored a 50. And as I said, those short deliveries are now being telegraphed. He was so into the shot so early with that last stroke that he actually played the shot early and had to pull back on the stroke. And I think if Romario Shepherd is going to continue bowling short, he'll have to put a little bit more shoulder and back into those deliveries to get them to be more effective.
We want to say good afternoon to all who are joining the stream for WICB. And anywhere you're getting the stream in the world and you're watching, we say good afternoon to you. This is Pramal with the start of a new over to Devon Thomas, and the ball is just allowed to go by. Pretty much playing inside the line of that one was Thomas, allowing it to go into the gloves of Bramble. He didn't take it cleanly, but there is no damage done. 94 for 2. Leeward Islands Hurricane, and Thomas is driving but straight to the fielder, who is at cover but pretty deep, almost halfway to the boundary, the cover. Devon Thomas was driving on that occasion, couldn't beat the fielder, so he remains on 1. 94 for 2. Pramal is in, left arm around the wicket to bowl to him, and this time he's beating the infield with a beautiful stroke through extra cover for 4. That was magnificent. He just got forward again, just stepping the feet, his left foot out, and driving that one past the fielder at extra cover and picking up a boundary.
Yes, the positive return from getting your feet to the pitch of the ball. But what was impressive about that is that he made the adjustment from the shot before and decided to go a little straighter instead of squarer, and was able to take advantage of the gap and get 4 runs.
Certainly did. The slip is in place. Pramal is ready once more. Left arm round the wicket. He's in to bowl to Devon Thomas. Gets a good delivery on the line of the stumps. Pushes forward. Plays it into short extra cover. And there is no run.
Now, what I'm seeing here is that Devon Thomas is taking advantage of the foundation built by the other batsman before him.
He's getting a short of a length delivery and looking to stroke it away. This time finding the fielder at deep cover. This field is pretty deep. It's almost like a deliberate field. It's not on the boundary. Normally people would say he's in no man's land, but they seemingly know the way that Devon Thomas plays. And here is he coming inside and is whipping this one. Gets it past the wicket keepers, running down to fine leg. They come back for a second run. The fielder ambling after it. That looks to be Joseph. Yes, the way that he was running after that, you could tell he's a fast bowler. He was just ambling after it, and the batsmen were able to come back for 2 runs. Hodge is on 50. Devon Thomas is on 7. The Leeward Islands Hurricanes, they are 100 for 2. 100 for 2. After more thoughts from you, Vincy Bowen, it's going to be Jack Matthew.
Yes, Denmo, and what I'm seeing here from Thomas is that he's showing some intent and purpose in being very positive. I wouldn't say necessarily in scoring very quickly, but being very positive in scoring, because you could see from that over there, he executed a few drives, one of them being successful, the other 2 stopped by the fielder. But if he continues in this vein, he's going to be scoring some runs today.
So Romario Shepherd continues. First ball is short outside the line of the off stump, and the batsman doesn't offer. It remains on 100 for 2. The Leeward Islands Hurricanes put into bat this morning a delayed start, play starting at 11:15 because of seepage, and a late lunch was taken at 12:30. And since the resumption, we saw the departure of Casey Cart. He was caught by Johnson at first slip over the bowling of Shepherd, who runs in now. This is a ball of full length outside the line of the off stump. And Monson Hodge lifts the bat, not extravagantly, just lifting the bat and allowing that one to go by outside the line of the off stump. He has judged that off stump very, very well. He has paced his innings. It has been a very, very watchful batting display by Monson Hodge. He's been there for a long time. He has 50. And the Leeward Islands 100 for 2. So Carty caught Johnson, bowled Shepherd for 28, 83 for 2, and he departed outside the off stump. A little bit of bounce, but the batsman again is allowing it to go by, to be taken by Anthony Bramble.
No ball.
He says a signal of no ball comes from umpire Joel Wilson, being assisted in this match by Jackie Williams, who swings hands at square leg. as Romario Shepherd walks back to his mark on the blazing sun at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. Carty had 4 fours in his knock of 28, faced 62 deliveries and batted for 102 minutes. Shepherd strides in, goes past the umpire, and this is short, and it is pulled away and goes straight to the mid-wicket fielder, and he's out. Caught by the fielder at mid-wicket, Chandapal. So it was a short ball, and there was Bonsin Hodge going into the pull shot. He hit it straight to the mid-wicket fielder. It was firmly struck, but Tajurain Chandapal held on to it with both hands, and so Bonsin Hodge walks back. He has been caught by Chandapal of the bowling of Romario Shepherd for 50, and the Leeward Hurricanes have slipped since the interval. They are now 101 for 3.
Yes, that shot was a poorly executed shot. Jack, that ball was pitch short, rising over his shoulder outside of off stump. It was not going to be as easy to control that shot as it would have been had it been pitched on his body or over his left shoulder. So he already was at a disadvantage to try and dispatch that shot. And then what he tried to do was roll his wrist, and what he did, he really kept the ball down enough for the fielder to catch it. Now, if he had hit and tried to hit it over the infield, maybe he would have stood a chance. But he, in this case, I would say he was the one that was at fault for his demise there. Romario Shepherd having success with that short pitch delivery, which he persisted with in the last over and this over, and he has now considered himself successful, despite the fact that I think that it is Hodge's mistake really with that delivery. Short delivery outside off stump over your shoulder, it's going to be difficult to control that shot.
So here's departed, and the right-handed Akeem Saunders has come out to replace him. Saunders, player, young man, had his maiden first-class century. I think it was last season. So he has had 100 at the first-class level. He faces the bowling of Romario Shepherd, who speeds in to bowl to him, and he gets a ball of full length, almost of Yorker length, and comes down at it, and it just goes into the offside and stops. And it's Tajurain Chandapal, who skips in from the mid-wicket position, from that position where he took the catch to dismiss Bonsin Hodge. Hodge caught of the bowling of Shepherd for 50. Score 101 for 3, and that's the score at the moment.
Yes, and Shepherd has been the successful bowler after lunch, picking up the 2 wickets, the one of Carty and now Hodge, who featured in a half-century partnership between the two of them. So
Shepherd is in, and he edges this ball, but it falls well short of the first slip fielder. A diving effort by the keeper, Anthony Bramble, just parries the ball away, but not far enough for the batsman to attempt a single. But not necessarily in control, but he played with soft hands, and there was certainly an inclination to try and pull the bottom hand away to keep the ball down.
Yep.
And he hit the edge of the bat and fell well short of the first slip position. So Romario Shepherd walks back. He has picked up 33 wickets prior. He had picked up 33 wickets prior to this match. So he has now picked up 35 in his first-class career. His best effort, 5 for 40 at the first-class level. Runs away from us, right arm, fast medium. He's in, and this ball is short. Akeem Saunders pulls out of the line of that delivery, going maybe just over off stump.
Yes.
And he was very ready to pull inside the line and allow that ball to go by just out over the off stump.
Yeah.
The over ends with the score 101 for 3. 101 for 3. Leeward's Hurricanes batting after being put into bat by Guyana Jaguars in this West Indies Championship match at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium.
Yes, and that final delivery had a little juice on it. It was quick, it was well directed, and Saunders, even though he thought about maybe a pull shot, he realized that the ball was getting big on him quickly and decided to pull out of that shot. But Shepherd, though the second wicket, or his bowling after lunch, has been somewhat ordinary, he has still been able to effect 2 dismissals after lunch, which is really in the favor of Guyana, pulling them, getting these 2 wickets, the score now being 101 for 3. And I believe at this stage, with 2 new batsmen in the wicket, Guyana is fancying their chances of maybe picking up more.
Certainly, they would be looking to press home the advantage they've managed to grab after the break. Akeem Saunders yet to score. He's at the non-strikers end. Captain Devon Thomas on 7. He'll prepare to face the bowling of Sami Pramal. Pramal, the left-arm spinner, is around the wicket. This is it high, in the air, down towards the mid-off position. Fielder is going back, really be able to take the catch. The ball fell from him, and so chance to Devon Thomas. I thought it was a rather reckless stroke. He was looking there to get to the pitch of the left-arm spinner, did not get there, went through with the drive. The ball went airily down towards the long-on position. The mid-on running back would have gotten his hands to that one. That was Moti Kanai, and the ball fell from him. So it was a risky stroke, and he survived. Devon Thomas, he got a couple for it. He's on to 9. He's back now, playing in more orthodox and certainly in more responsible fashion. And the ball goes on the offside of the pitch to be picked up by Pramal. There's a slip in place and a short egg. Those are the close catches. There's a short extra cover as well for the up-pitch drive. And he goes back and carefully runs the ball down to the backward point position. It's picked up there by Trevon Griffith. And there is no addition to the score. The sun shines brightly here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. Pramal bowling around the wicket. Left arm spin. This one is the arm ball. It goes straight through outside the line of the off stump. Devon Thomas not offering. As we look to the east, we see the Antigua and Barbuda flag and the Guyana flag fluttering in the breeze. As Sami Pramal is in, and the batsman is right forward, ball hitting close to the shoulder of the bat, an angled bat, and runs down to Griffith at backward point. No chance for him to score. Where Sami Pramal, 29 years of age, has had a lot of wickets in first-class cricket. He has picked up at the first-class level some 450 wickets in first-class cricket, 104 matches prior to this one. Here is Devon Thomas driving away down towards the backward point position, away from Griffith. There's a sweeper in Vijay Singh. He runs around from the deep cover area, and the batsmen sprint back for a second. The over ends with that couple of runs. It's 105 for 3. Devon Thomas goes into double figures. He's on 11, and Akeem Saunders yet to score. Let's going back to the stats for Sami Pramal. This is his 105th first-class match. He has picked up 450 wickets. His best figures being 8 for 26 in an innings and 12 for 101. He has been around for a long time, 29 years of age, but as we have been saying earlier, when he has been given the opportunity to play at the highest level, he hasn't distinguished himself.
I would say yes, he has not distinguished himself, but I'm wondering, has he gotten an extended run similar to someone like a Bishu, who to me has not distinguished himself at the highest level neither?
And I agree with you that Devendra Bishu has been left wanting, especially in recent times. You don't see the googly that he used to display. This ball is pushing the batsman, Akeem Saunders, onto the back foot, and then he just rocks forward and plays the ball into the offside for Romario.
Yeah, one of the things about Bishu that I'm very disappointed in is that you would think that a player, as he gets more experience, you would see progression in his game, in his development, and I'm not seeing any of that at all.
In fact, we have seen a decline.
Yeah, more retrogression in his ability.
Romario Shepherd runs in, right arm over the wicket, and he's beaten by this delivery, and the ball, he's out, LBW. The ball hitting the pad, Akeem Saunders late on that one. It was a full-length delivery, and he was defending, and the ball hit him on the pad. The umpire raised the finger, Joel Wilson. So that's the end of Akeem Saunders. He has been dismissed by Romario Shepherd, who has now picked up his 3rd wicket, and all those victims have come after the break. So the Leewards are sliding here after being at one stage 100 for 2. They have now slipped to 4 down with just over 100 runs on the board.
What I'm seeing here is that Romario Shepherd is now growing in confidence. He's now causing the batsmen to play more. That delivery was a very well-directed delivery, full of length, straight and off stump, I would reckon. And Saunders just missed that ball completely. As a matter of fact, from his reactions, you could see Saunders thought he was out even before the umpire gave him out. He turned around and started walking. I guess he thought he was bowled, and so it was just more or less a foregone conclusion that the umpire would have ended up raising his finger to point him on his way. But Romario Shepherd seems to be growing in confidence. At the end of the last over, he bowled a bouncer to Saunders also that seemed to take off and had some pace on it. And now he's seeming to, with that confidence, he brought that delivery up fuller to Saunders, and Saunders just was not to the measure.
So Romario Shepherd has now bowled 9.2 overs, 2 maidens, 3 for 21. 3 for 21, Romario Shepherd, 9.2 overs. So he has really come into his own after lunch and has rocked the Leeward Islands Hurricanes innings, because they were going pretty well at 101 for 2, but they've lost 2 quick wickets. In fact, it had got up to 83 for 1 when Casey Carty was caught by Johnson at slip just after the break of the bowling of Shepherd for 28, 4 fours, 62 balls for 102 minutes for his knockout 28. Romario Shepherd is into Rakeem Cornwall, who allows the ball to go by outside the line of the off stump. Just very, very watchful, tall man, Rakeem Cornwall, and a pivotal player in this Leeward Islands team, and indeed for the West Indies A side as well. Has been knocking hard at the door for West Indies senior team selection, and we have heard a lot of things said as to why he has not been selected. As clearly the reasons have been unsatisfactory. Here's a ball well up to him and he drives but doesn't get hold of it, hits the bottom and inside half of the bat and goes out to Tajnarine Chandapal, moving around from a straightish mid-wicket position.
You know, Jack, some suggestions have been about his size, fitness, etc., etc. But when someone can bowl in excess of 30 overs in a day and be productive, right? You have things that you call fit for purpose. You believe in that? And I believe that the purpose...
Shepherd is in outside the off stump and the batsman doesn't offer.
That he has been showing that for the purpose that he's required, that he's been fit enough to do the job and has been doing it quite effectively. And I believe had you put him on those dust bowl pitches in Bangladesh, he would have done some damage in Bangladesh. Now, that is just my opinion, and I know the opinion that I share might not be the opinion of all, but that is just how I see things.
Yes, and his record is, especially his bowling record at the first class level, is absolutely fantastic. A lifting ball outside the line of the off stump, and the tall Rakeem Cornwall just allows the ball to go by innocuously to wicketkeeper Anthony Bramble. The over ends at 105 for 4. 105 for 4. Romario Shepherd has now picked up 3 for 21 from 10 overs. 3 for 21 from 10. And he has been incisive since lunch, removing Casey Carty. He has also dismissed Monson Hodge, and the last man, Akeem Saunders. Carty went for 28, Hodge for 50, and Saunders without score. Just looking at the bowling of Rakeem Cornwall at the first class level, he's played 44 matches. He has picked up 202 first class wickets. Whereas Hamid Pramal is in, and this is stroked down to the deep point cover position, where Vijay Singh comes off the boundary and the batsmen go for 1. Devon Thomas just coming forward and easing the ball away gracefully down to the deep cover position for a single. So he goes on to 12, and let's go 106 for 4. Rakeem Cornwall yet to score. Comes into strike. So 202 wickets in 44 first-class matches, Rakeem Cornwall. Best figures in innings, 8 for 108, and he's picked up 12 for 205, his best in the match. And his economy rate is also fantastic, 2.87 in first-class cricket, 8 4-wicket hauls, 14 5-wicket hauls, and 1 10-wicket haul. He has the bat now, and he's back and cracking the ball away down towards the backward point position. He's going close to the boundary. Will be pulled back by Vijay Singh, just a meter or 2 inside the point boundary, and they come back for the second run. So Cornwall is off the mark. He's on 2. and it's 108 for 4. Former West Indies fast bowler Kenneth Benjamin has come alongside me. Good afternoon, Kenneth.
Good afternoon to you, Jack.
Reasserts Paval will continue his bowling left arm around the wicket, and Cornwall is back and cutting along the peel. Umpire says out. So Cornwall goes caught at the wicket. Umpire Jackie Williams lifting the hand. There was a confident appeal. He went back. The ball was close to him. He was looking to effect the shot. He certainly executed the previous delivery, but that one was pretty close to him, and it took the edge. Cornwall stood there for a while, not sure if it was dejection or he was certainly he was against the verdict, but he walks back, and another crucial blow has been struck by Guyana Jaguars. Cornwall has been dismissed. He has been caught at the wicket by Anthony Bramble of the bowling of Veerasammy Permaul for 2, and the Leewards 108 for 5.
Yes, and this is what we spoke about this morning, Jack, when we spoke about the rate in terms of the Leeward Islands not looking urgent and so on. They managed to score 60 odd runs or so before lunch, but we spoke about this. Imagine you have a collapse, then all of a sudden you're 100 for 5 now. So Guyana could have come out because there was not a lot of runs on the board, and they could attack you again because obviously they the frame of mind. And added to that, the Leeward Island batsmen came out, and all the dismissals that we have seen, we wouldn't say that they were bowled out. The shots were careless. People are too aggressive. We just saw Rakeem Cornwall just got to the wicket. That shot, was for someone who should have been in. And so we're just seeing indisciplined performance by the Leeward Islands players, and this has been the problem that we've had, not just in Leeward Islands but in the West Indies in general, is that people don't assess the situation and play according.
Yes, certainly it has been a mental problem for a long time, and as you expertly put it, reckless decisions by the batsmen, all of them who have been dismissed. Ball is defensively played by the new batsman, that's Orlando Peters, and he goes to the shortish extra cover position. There is Barnwell in that position, hands on both knees now, and here is the batsman stroking along the ground back towards Veerasammy Permaul. So it has been a rapid decline by the Leeward Hurricanes after the break. Carty went for 28, Munson Hodge for 50, Akeem Saunders no score, Permaul is in, ball tossed up, and the batsman is defending. Orlando Peters, that ends the over. Successful one for Veerasammy Permaul, picking up the wicket of Rakeem Cornwall for 2. It's 108 for 5. So the Leewards have to try and dig themselves out of a hole that they dug for themselves.
Yes, certainly, and I believe one of the things that we fail to do in the Caribbean as administrators, as coaches, as players, is to pay attention to decision making. Just like learning to defend, just like learning to bowl an outswinger, learning to bowl an arm ball. So we have to learn to make good decisions. It is a part of skill development, and what we have seen here today from the Guyanese outfit is that they stuck to their guns. They didn't experiment. They recognized time is longer than rope, but the Leeward Islands obviously have learned.
Romario Shepherd is in, and this is cut over the head of the slip fielder and down to the boundary for 4, well away from Leon Johnson at that first slip position. Barnwell at second slip was nowhere near it either, and it went away for 4. Captain cutting out that ball, not sure if he intended for it to go over the slip cordon, but it certainly did, and down to the unprotected third man area. It was fine third man. There's a fielder who's square at third man, so Devon Thomas gets a boundary. Awaits Romario Shepherd, and is pulling at this ball, and umpire Jackie Williams has to come out of the way hurriedly at that square leg position. It was short, and Devon Thomas went across his stumps, waited on the ball, and pulled it down, and in the vicinity of Jackie Williams, the square leg umpire.
Well, Jack, we saw a man being posted down at the square third man, even though he's a bit wide, obviously he was there for a purpose, and we saw Devon Thomas went for an uppercut, and probably the guy in the camp felt that that was one area that they could obviously get him out.
Here is Orlando Peters now. They're trying to get him out, and he comes on top of this one, just rising there, getting on top of his toes and making sure that he angles the bat to a lifting delivery from Romario Shepherd. Now in the course of his 11th over, has really put the cats among the pigeons after the break. He has had 10.3 overs, 3 maidens, 3 for 26. His figures after the initial breakthrough was effected by his fellow fast bowler, Kian Joseph, who bowled Chandrika for 9, and the score was on 14. Here is Orlando Peters coming across his stumps, and watchfully the ball hits the outer face of the bat and goes away towards the gully short point area for Trevon Griffith to pick the ball up, and there is no run. There are 2 slips in place. A gully, there's that wide third man referred to just moments ago by Kenneth Benjamin, and there is a square cover. There's no mid-off. There is a mid-on in place, a short leg. There's a man just backward of the umpire on the boundary, and a long leg as Romario Shepherd is bowling a lifting delivery outside the line of the off stump. So there is a plan, perhaps to trying to induce the batsman to go for that uppercut with that fielder down at the deep point square third man position, and perhaps giving him a chance for a catch.
I'm wondering as well, Jack, with Devon Thomas, the non-striker. Now you have Orlando Peters, the new batter. He's not yet off the mark. I would prefer to see now the 3 slips with Shepherd shaping the ball away. So if you're going to have the third man, maybe 3 and no gully.
Here is Shepherd, and Orlando Peters is across and plays it defensively to Tajnarayan Chandapur lurking at short leg onto the helmet. The over comes to an end at 113 for 5. 113 for 5. Leeward Islands Hurricanes after being put into bat by Guyana Jaguars. It's a top of the table clash, both sides having won the opening matches of the West Indies Championship. Hodge fell for 50, Chandrika 9, Carty 28, Saunders no score, and Rakeem Cornwall for 2. Romario Shepherd has picked up 3 of those victims, and the other going to Kian Joseph.
Yes, and I was saying is that with a score at 113 for 5, you can afford a boundary or 2. So the third man, especially to the new batter, Orlando Peters, you can actually put that third man into third slip and have a very attacking, because what you wouldn't want is for these two to maybe settle down and to maybe slow up your proceedings.
So the action continues with Veerasamy Permal operating from the far end. So Andy Roberts, southern end here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. No offer coming from Devon Thomas. Take my wicketkeeper Anthony Bramble, and a similar delivery outside the line of the off stump. And the Leeward's captain allows the ball to go by yet again. So we have just a few people watching the proceedings, as really the custom these days in regional cricket. A few people showing up to watch the action. Ball turned away by Devon Thomas in the vacant mid-wicket area, and the mid-on having to come around in Gudakesh Motikanai, and an easy single had by Thomas. So he continues to carry the fight for his team. Thomas with that single goes further on. He's now on to 18. And Orlando Peters, who's yet to score up, comes in to strike. The left-arm spinner, Permal, is into him, and he's forward. Just strokes it out to the short extra cover fielder in Christopher Barnwell. There's a slip lurking. There's a short leg as well, and that short extra cover as Permal into Peters, and Peters is watchful, playing forward, bat and pad close together, head well over the ball. So his intention here is to bat for a long time, and he will need to if the Leewards are going to get out of this hole. 114 for 5. Veerasamy Permal will continue. He's into the right-hander, and he allows the ball to go by outside the line of the off stump, going back and looking to be intentionally playing inside the line of that one as the ball spun away. Not a lot of spin, but sufficient for the batsman to be quite assured in his judgment that one would have missed off stump by some distance. We have a drinks break at the moment, with Guyana certainly very confident, and certainly the team now with the initiative, because the Leeward Islands have declined since the luncheon interval. They went to lunch with a score on 67 for 1, with Monson Hodge on 35 and Casey Carty on 17 And since the break, they carried the score to 83 before Carty played loosely at the ball outside the off stump and offered Johnson a catch at slip of the bowling of Shepherd. He departed for 28, faced 62 deliveries, hit 4 fours, and batted in all for 102 minutes. And the score got up to 101 for 2 when Monsin Hodge got a short ball from Romario Shepherd and went for the pull shot, pulled it down, but hit it straight to Tajnarain Chandapal at mid-wicket, and Shepherd celebrated his second wicket of the innings. Hodge, the opening batsman, went for 50, 101 for 3. Became 105 for 4 when Akeem Saunders was palpably LBW by Shepherd. The ball was clearly in line. He was late on the stroke to full-length delivery, and he departed without scoring 105 for 4. And with only 3 runs added, Rakeem Cornwall injudiciously cut at a ball which was very close to him from Veerasammy Parmal, edged it to Bramble, and the Guyanese was celebrating again because the big man, who is a pivotal player in this Leeward Islands side with bat and ball, had been dismissed of the bowling of Parmal for 2, 108 for 5. So Kenneth Benjamin, they have really put themselves in a position by injudicious stroke play, the mental approach not enduring for the Leeward Islands batsmen, and Guyana are very comfortable at the moment, having grabbed the initiative.
Yeah, certainly. There is no devil in the pitch whatsoever. We're seeing Parmal just getting the ball just to shape away. We saw Shepherd, even though he bowled well, yes, we must say, we can't say that he didn't deserve his wickets, but he got them. But I just felt that the Leeward Island players were irresponsible. And obviously, like I said, there were some situations where you lost wicket, and, you know, the batter who was in could have just hold on a little longer, you know, just to make sure that you establish a good partnership. We saw Rakeem Cornwall meeting with the captain after a couple of wickets fell, and he immediately, his intent was to attack the bowling, and that caused his demise. And so Leeward Islands have no one to blame but themselves for the situation that they find themselves in. From like a 90 odd or so for 1 after lunch at the moment, first water break after lunch, they are 5 down for 114. But Jack, I was just looking at the groundsmen after every break, they would go and mark the lines over. And I just see one of the batsmen just inquiring as to why did you mark my guard out, you know. And I think that it is something that the groundsmen should be aware. You know, even though you mark the bowler, where the bowler might have rubbed away in terms of the line, you know, I don't think you need to mark, you know, in front of the stumps where they see this taking his guard over again, where the batters have actually taken the guard and have actually put a mark.
Yes.
And so just something for them, maybe once, you know, you have 2 batters in that area, you can leave, because they would have established their mark. Yes, we can say that it is easy to take your guard over, but it is actually there already. And so I don't see the need to mark over it when the batter who put it there is still in the wicket.
And with Kenneth Benjamin having eagle eyes, you cannot afford to do those things because he's going to pick it up. So the action will continue. There's a bit of consultation between the captain, Leon Johnson, and it looks to be Kian Joseph, who's coming back into the attack. Yes, Romario Shepherd is going to have a break. He has picked up 3 wickets. 3 of the scalps have gone his way. The other wicket takers being Kian Joseph, who's back into the attack, fellow fast bowler, and Veerasammy Parmal. Those are the other bowlers who have picked up wickets. And Leon Johnson, just making sure he had a word with his fast bowler before he starts another spell from this, the commentary box, and has operated from this end all throughout his spell so far. And here is a ball which is stroked into the offside, goes to Tajnarain Chandapal at short extra cover, and there is no one. Just punching the ball there off the front foot, the captain, Devon Thomas. So for those joining us, the Leeward Islands Hurricanes, leaving out Terence Ward and Nelson Boland from the 13-member squad. So they're feeling Monsin Hodge, Rajendra Chandrika, Casey Carty, Devon Thomas, captain, Akeem Saunders, Rakeem Cornwall, Damian Jacobs. Kian Joseph is in, and Devon Thomas is steering the ball brilliantly, fielded by the sliding Trevor Griffith moving from the gully position, making sure that there was no chance for the batsman to even attempt a run. Had it gone past him, it would have been Moti Kanai who would have to do the fielding, and he's some distance at that point position.
I just want to say hail up to Shivnarine Chandapal, Jack. He just messaged said that he wanted to know that he's in England. He's actually listening to the commentary, you know.
And I will say hello to Shivnarine Chandapal, one of my favorite players as well. This ball is turned away into the onside, down to the backward square position, and it's picked up there by the fielder just coming around. That's Pistano.
Is it because you play a bit like him, Jack?
Not necessarily. I was much more flamboyant. That's a joke. Yes. Well, what I liked about Chandapal with his commitment and his productivity, he was not only committed to the game, but he was highly productive. Came in for criticism from some that he was batting too slowly, but the fact that if you're going to play Test cricket, you must bat for a particular period in a 5-day Test match. Here is Kian Joseph, and it's turned away down to the fine leg area. Devon Thomas runs very, very quickly. It's Orlando Peters, and they'll try the third. The return comes in, and they'll get the third run. Orlando Peters just turning that ball away, very, very fine. The man at backward square, almost in a long leg position, having a lot of running to do. That's Clinton Pistano, and they were able to dash back for the third. These are quick runners between the wickets as well. Devon Thomas and Orlando Peters. So 3 more to the score. It's 118 for 5. I'm not finished with Shivnarine Chandapal yet, but you can make it.
I think the Leewards and the West Indies could well do with a couple of the Shivnarine Chandapal mentality, the Shivnarine Chandapal approach in terms of batting, because if you're going to do well in these longer games, you need to spend time in the wicket. And the last couple of Test matches we played against Bangladesh, we couldn't even last 3 days, you know. So obviously we were lacking in terms of time at the crease.
This is a ball well up, driven out to Shivnarine Chandapal's son, Tajnarine Chandapal at extra cover. He skips away to his left, and he does the fielding. And there is no run. It's kept on 118 for 5. And Shivnarine Chandapal was adept at pace and spin. I remember in a one international match against South Africa, he made 150. Now, he was criticized for batting too slowly, but he could really shift gears. And remember, he scored a Test century against Australia. Kian Joseph is in, and this is a ball pulled away down towards the wide-ish mid-on position, and that's 4 runs. It was on the short side from Joseph, and Thomas was quickly on it. He pounced on that one and hit it well forward of square in the vicinity of straightish mid-wicket, wide mid-on, and down to the boundary for 4. A boundary which carries the score at the end of that over to 122 for 5. And Devon Thomas is now on to 23. So in a Test match against Australia, Shivnarine Chandapal made 100, and I think he made it off 67 deliveries. And that is quick scoring. And that was several years ago.
I think he had one of the fastest one-day centuries as well, I think, you know. If my memory serves, I know he definitely have one of the fastest Test centuries. And so he definitely, like you say, whenever he wants to, you know, he can shift game. He was very inept in terms of
adept, yes.
Adept in terms of Test cricket and even limited over matches. You know, sometimes he used to open the batting because they know that he can get it away. But I think that definitely someone like him, somebody who thinks like him, is missing in the West Indies cricket.
Pramal continues, stroked away by Orlando Peters down towards the extra cover area for Pistano to do the fielding. Yes, we need that level of commitment, not only in terms of when you go into the middle to bat. This ball is stroked again by Devon Thomas, by Orlando Peters, and he goes out to Pistano. But he did a lot of work on his own in terms of preparing. You could sense that Shivnarine Chandapal spent a lot of time preparing, practicing, and that helped him considerably during his career. Orlando Peters is forward, head well over the ball, bat and pad close together against the bowling of Pramal, goes out to Barnwell at extra cover, no run. So here is where Samir Pramal, few paces, he's in, and this ball spins by outside the line of the offs, and the batsman doesn't offer, taken by Bramble. And that's where we need to go. We need to spend a lot of time the current West Indian batsman in the nets, batting for long periods outside the line of the off stump, and the batsman does not. I remember we were having a talk with Clyde Walcott, who served as president of the West Indies Cricket Board of Control then, it was. And here is Pramal, and the ball is cut away down to the point cover position, square cover, and Vijay Singh is there to do the fielding, and there is no run. Another over has reached its climax, and it's a 122 for 5, the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. And Clyde Walcott was saying that they spent a lot of time, hours batting in the net, preparing for for a test match.
And the thing about it, Jack, spending time in the net can help. But the thing about it, you have to know why you're spending time in the net and what are the objectives. Because I don't even believe if the current West Indies players would have spent time in the net that would help. Because it is a whole mindset, Jack. It is a whole mentality. Spending time in the nets and want to play shot the ball is not going to help. You have to know what is it you're trying to achieve and work toward that. Make sure that it is done properly.
Kian Joseph runs away from us, and he is playing loosely outside the off stump. Devon Thomas. That was short outside off stump, and he went for the horizontal bat stroke and missed it, taken by the wicketkeeper. Could have edged that easily, and goes away towards the square leg position, just off the strip of the pitch itself, which is being used, and looks to concentrate again, Devon Thomas, as Kian Joseph strides into ball team, right arm over the wicket, and he's allowing this ball to go by. Similar delivery, and taken by Bramble. No ball called by Joel Wilson. So one more to the score. It's 123 now for 5. So it's a shot selection, preparing, making sure that you cover your weaknesses. Look to concentrate for a long time, because you're going to have to concentrate when the match time comes. I
really think we need to put the effort in that. Decision making and concentration are the 2 areas, and we need to get it into the youngsters early, because even when you play at the shorter version, Jack, those 2 factors come into play: decision making and concentration. You still have to do that to perform at the shorter version, and so it is having an effect right across the Caribbean in terms of in our productivity.
Kian Joseph driven out firmly to touch the line. Chandapal, he makes the save at extra cover, because even in the shorter formats, the T20 and the 50 overs aside games, and now we have T10, you need to be able to create the angles to get the singles, because you cannot be hitting to mid-off and mid-on and be expecting to score. You will now have to be able to put yourself using the footwork necessary to get ahead of the bowler, as it were. Kian Joseph is in outside the line of the off stump. And those are the things that we see the West Indies batsmen are suffering from. They're not being able to exercise that level of
and if I can just get a little technical here to Jack, in terms of the shorter version, T20 in particular, I think again some of our batsmen are confused with pre-planning and premeditating. I see there too many times when we premeditate a shot, Jack, and we decide we're going to hit this over cow corner, and doesn't matter where the ball pitch is, we go. The other players, they pre-plan and will continue after this delivery.
Joseph is in, and he's pulling at this one. Doesn't get hold of it. They'll probably come back for the second. The fielder gets it now, and he says no. Devon Thomas was keen to come back, but Orlando Peters saw the danger, because the fielder running back from the mid-on position was onto it. That looks to be Vijay Singh, and only 1 run had.
And the thing about it is that the thing about it is that the pre-plan, and you can see Devon Thomas have pre-planned that if they bowl short, I'm going to hit it in front of square. You can actually see that, because every time they've bowled short, that is the attempt. And that is the difference when you pre-plan rather than when you premeditate.
Joseph is in, and he gets a ball, no ball. And that one was a good delivery, in the sense that the line was good, the length was good, but he overstepped that front crease, not for the first time, Kian Joseph. So that will push the score on for the Leeward's Hurricanes as the action continues. The umpire, Joel Wilson, just going across to make sure that line is clearly defined. Skian Joseph walks back thoughtfully to the top of his mark, looking to correct that error. It's 125 for 5 now, and he's on his way to bowl to Orlando Peters, and Peters is turning the ball away, in fact stroking it away through the forward mid-wicket position, and they will look for the third. No, they won't come for it. Devon Thomas was exploring that possibility, but Orlando Peters sent him back because there was an element of danger in attempting that third run. 127 now for 5, and Orlando Peters with that couple is on to 5. Peters is on to 5, and Devon Thomas on 24, the non-strikers then. The Leewards losing Hodge for 50, and Chandrika for 9, 28 Carty, Saunders naught, and Cornwall 2. Romario Shepherd picking up 3 wickets. Orlando Peters is watchful as he defends this last delivery, and he goes slowly out to Moti Kanai at cover point. 127 for 5, more from Kenneth Benjamin, and then the voice of Seth Burton.
Yes, and even though we felt that on the 5th delivery, it was hit out to deep mid-wicket and they only got 2, the intent was there. You saw Devon Thomas and Peters. They were running hard. They actually turned for the third. Peters felt that it was too dangerous. He said no, but the intent was there. This morning when we were speaking about the lack of intent, we weren't seeing that. And this is exactly the difference in terms of putting fielders under pressure as well. Have to run really hard because the batsmen are looking busy. Good afternoon to you, Seth.
Well, good afternoon, Kenny. And it's really a change, a transformation from the position at lunch at 68 for 1 to 127 for 5 as Reasserts Pramod comes into Devon Thomas. He shoulders arms, allows the ball to go through to Bramble. So Thomas is on 24 and looks good. A key partnership here with the Leewards losing 4 wickets after the luncheon interval, not having the best of post-lunch sessions. Driven by Thomas, he drives out to the fielder coming off the long off boundary, picks the ball up just inside the ropes. So 2 comfortable runs for Thomas. He moves to 26 and the score up to 129 for 5. I'm going to tell you a story as you continue to speak about intent and purpose and observation. And these 2 young players are there. Well, they were young players then, and it would underscore the point that we have been making. Well swept, 4 runs, lovely shot. It was pitched on about middle stump, I reckon, from the angle. We don't have the adjacent angle as we would have liked to Thomas, and Thomas really swept it nicely. Slog sweep, the new version of it, just to the left of Tajnarine Chandrapal at the forward short leg position, and it went rolling across the ropes into the boundary for 4. And Devon Thomas looks good on 30. The Leewards 132 for 5.
Yeah, certainly a good shot. And this is what you want whenever there's an opportunity to score. Obviously, bowlers change plan because batters are looking to score.
Here is Pramod once again to Thomas. Drives, flowing drive, or beats the diving figure of Pestano out towards the extra cover boundary. Thomas coming back for 2. So you're picking up the momentum. Everything is correct. The movement of the feet, the movement of the arm, picking the spot, precision, poise, everything is right. Positive body language in spite of the challenges that the team would have lost 4 wickets without any rush of blood.
Yes, and as Captain Devon Thomas will want to make sure he continues to be positive but careful because you wouldn't want to lose the next wicket.
He's on 32 as he faces, beaten by a good delivery from Pramod, stifled appeal from the towering figure of, is it Shepherd, who is at mid-off? In fact, it's not Shepherd, it looks like Barnwell. And keeper Bramble also went up, so good response from Pramod, already conceding 8 runs in this over. As Guyana with a distinct advantage here. Thomas goes back and pulls. It's going out towards the mid-wicket boundary. 4 runs. A good over for the Leewards, which Thomas asserting himself and really rushing on to 36. The Leeward Islands 139 for 5. Good response from the Leeward's captain.
Yes, certainly. And that is what we were on about, the intent. Whenever you get an opportunity to score, every time you score, you put the bowler, the fielding captain, the team on the pressure because you have just picked up 4 quick wickets after lunch, and here is it now when you thought that you were going to maybe get into the tail and then dismiss the Leeward Islands. The captain is showing some fight, and he's scoring and scoring heavily. And once he gets someone like Peters, you know, Baby Peters, Orlando Baby Peters, so to stay there, spend some time at the crease, you know, this could spell some trouble for Guyana, because definitely Devon Thomas, once he's at the crease, he's going to score. Obviously, he's going to give you the odd chance here or there, but if you don't grab onto it, you could be in the back seat, because he definitely is going to score, and you can see his intent. Even though the Leewards have lost some wickets, his intent is to push the score along.
Very positively, he would have to be there, need to be there by the end of the day if Leewards are to swim out of the dangerous waters. So Pestano is about to come in, but I'm going to start the story when you spoke about intent. I believe it may have been, Devon Thomas is what, about 26? So I believe it may have been about 29, Vinci says here, outside the off-stump, the ball goes through. So this may be, it's over 10 years ago, the ball going through to Bramble. We were at the recreation ground. There was an exhibition match. Recreation grounds or Stanford cricket grounds, I can't quite remember. But Sir Viv Richards was playing. I don't think you were playing that game. All the older guys in an exhibition match. I remember Devon Thomas was playing. Steve Liebert from St. Kitts. A group of players were playing. Viv Richards, as an older man, was there. And this was the distinct reality. Here is Peters going back and steering this one to backward point for a visual swing to field, and there is no run. What was amazing to me is that often when they were in strike and they played a stroke, Viv was already off the mark, almost a quarter of the way down the pitch. And these younger lads had not moved. And when Viv was playing a stroke, he was actually walking towards exploring the possibility of a single. Here is Peters allowing this one to go through from Pestan, and there was no one. So the point that we kept making this morning about intent was not only in terms of the positioning, the technique of the positive intent, meeting the ball, getting the front foot forward, moving into position rather being static, but it also was about exploring the possibilities of a single. Look as though you're confident. And I think that is where one of the points that we may be lacking as far as West Indies cricket is concerned. Outside the off-stump, once again, a slow delivery from Pestano, and Peters allows it. So much battles are won by positive body language.
Yes, it is. Positive, and then more spoke about it this morning in terms of the way you carry yourself as well. Someone can look at you and just think different about you. Someone can just look at your approach, the way you carry yourself, your body language, and determine whether or not this guy is going to be a challenge, or whether he's just an ex-joke, just on a cricket park.
Here is Peters getting a good one just outside the off-stump. He was drawn into the stroke. Good delivery from Pestano. And going through to Bramble, and Pestano would feel good with his work, none for 17.
And said, Denmo made a comment about Pestano this morning, and I think probably just not giving him the credit or the recognition. Obviously, he did well in his last game, and what I'm seeing from here, he is that type of bowler who, very good line, he doesn't have the most pace, but he gets the ball to go in and he gets the ball to shape away, so he is going to be one to watch.
Right arm, medium fast outside the off stump. Peters allows the ball to go through, taken by Bramble, a good over. 9 overs, 3 maidens, none for 17. And even though he's not in the wicket-taking column like Romario Shepherd and Keon Joseph and Veerasamy Permaul, he has at least been responsible for at least sustaining some measure of pressure while the Leewards were inactive over a period.
Exactly, he played his part, because he has bowled now some 9 overs and he's taken none for 17 with 3 maidens. So it simply means that he's keeping the pressure whenever he's on. He's not giving runs away, so the batsmen are not thinking that they're in, they have someone behind their name. He's letting them work, and he's gone past the edge on a couple of occasions, and we've seen him nipping back in 1 or 2. So he definitely seems to have fit in, and he's definitely sticking, to the plan, executing well to the plans that the Guyana team would have discussed.
The Leewards would have to bat long here. Reasserts Permaul comes a flowing drive, but into the ground from Devon Thomas. The fielder comes off the cover boundary. Looks like Taj Narayan. No, it's not. Perhaps a substitute fielder, because I'm not picking up that fielder on the cover boundary, the single to Thomas. He goes to 37. The score up to 140 for 5. And Orlando Peters, who is on 5, faces up to Veerasamy Pramod. This time he allows the ball to go through the left armour, coming across the right-handed batsman. Kenny Benjamin has just slipped away, and Vincey Boyne has slipped in to the comment chair.
Yes,
Sun
sir.
is coming from a different angle now. It's really pressing against my cap, this time outside the off stump. That one was going through actually with the arm. It's just coming over the southern stand, and it's coming straight into the commentary box. Thankfully, we have the caps on.
Yeah, hopefully another 30 minutes and we will be spared its fury.
Lovely sweep shot on the part of Orlando Peters. It's going towards the boundary. Joseph is pulling it up just inside the boundary. They're coming back for the third one. Will they make it? Yes. In the end, they make it comfortably because the return from Joseph was not a very good one. In fact, it struggled to get past the pitch. And 2 runs to Orlando Peters. He moves to 8. And the Leeward's Hurricanes, they move on to 143 for 5.
Yes, very positive running set.
Yes, and they're building a good partnership, a partnership worth some 35 runs. This is the second best partnership of the innings. I'll get back to that as it's the captain. Thomas goes back and he pulls this one out to mid-wicket. That will be 4. The ball is going across the ropes now. It was just a thrice short. It stood up, and Thomas, once again, in very positive, controlled batting mode, just rocking back and pulling it out to the vacant mid-wicket boundary for 4. He moves to 41, and the Leewards 147 for 5. The partnership now 39.
And that's the measure of being positive. There's a lot of real estate out there. That ball was short, and Devon Thomas knew that had he hit, once he cleared the spaces, that it was a very safe shot.
Pramod comes in once again. Thomas plays this one, makes it look so easy out towards the fielder who speeds off the extra cover boundary. And a single to Devon Thomas at the end of over number 47. Thomas is on 42, not out. Orlando Peters is on 8. The Leeward Islands 148 for 5. So they're really trying to fight back after the Guyanese. Vincey really pegged them back after lunch, and they were in a position of 108 for 5 after the fall of Rakeem Cornwall's wicket. Pretty good counter action so far. The work between Thomas and Peters, it has just started.
Yes, I'll agree with you. A partnership so far 40 runs, of which Peters has only scored 8. So that is showing you the positive intent that Devon Thomas is having out there, and he's been doing a very good job. Peters is more or less playing that anchor role, and once he continues to do that, I see more positive things to happen for this innings that Leeward Islands is now trying to recover from those early strikes after lunch.
Yes, and this is looking like good cricket. Good bowling from the Guyanese, Ramarius Shepherd, the man who has done most of the job. In fact, in the pre-lunch session, he didn't take a wicket.
No,
but
he didn't.
Definitely stuck to his guns. Here is Pestano. Outside the off stump, Thomas is not induced into the drive.
That one looked like it left the batsman after it pitched. Speaking about positive intent set, as a batsman, whenever I play a ball in a gap where a fielder has to chase, I say to the non-striker, 2. Now, my intent is to run for 2 or to explore 2. Now, if the 2 is not there, then you tell the batsman to stay. But generally speaking, if you're positive enough, you can get the 2 runs.
Thomas this time is not ready. Something that perhaps is flying across the area. He's pointing towards the cover region. Dead ball signaled by umpire Wilson.
Yeah.
So it has to be done. And this spear, though, is a pair they usually like to run. In fact, it's a pair that sometimes you're fearful that one of them may not get run out because they would want to take 3, even though it may be a 1. That's the nature.
No. So that being said, calling for the 2 doesn't mean that you have to run blindly. You know, you obviously are going to
measuring it. You got to check. You got to communicate. You got to nudge. But at least you must let the fielding side see that you have confidence in what you're doing. This time, once again, outside the off stump, held its own, going through. Some cheer from Leon Johnson. So there's still some good talent around in West Indies cricket. I think part of it, a long time ago I heard Viv Richards said, it's the thinking factor, meaning the mindset. And I think that has been proven time after time. The fact that our under-19 team could have won the World Cup so convincingly 2 years ago. It is not a matter of talent. They have often reached the semi-finals. It's not a matter of talent. It is what happens between there and moving on. Thomas once again shoulders his arms, allows the ball to go through.
And said, you know, Kenneth alluded, I think it was Kenneth or Denmore alluded to something earlier. You know, teaching by observation is a very critical element to teaching. So you have a youngster sitting here next to you and you to ask the youngster, what are you seeing? What are you picking up there? What are you trying to test is his IQ for the game, whether he's observing certain things that may be negatives. And
Thomas faces up this time. He gets a good one, squeezes it out, and really good delivery. Dead on stumps from the bowler, Pastano. Thomas was equal to the task, but acknowledged that he had to look. Yes, you're right, because the question I was going to beg this morning when we had a critical discussion, do these guys really watch cricket? Do they,
exactly.
Sorry, I don't mean just play it, but do they sit down and critically watch cricket? I know the South Africans would tell you that they would pull West Indian batsmen apart of the former era. People would look at Andy Roberts. How does he bowl? Pestan outside the off stump. Thomas allows the ball to go through, taken by Bramber. Guys would pull Malcolm Marshall apart. They would pull Viv Richards and see how he plays the shot. The Indian batsmen may come and get observations. Why this and why that? New batsmen would sit with the elders and find out where they're going wrong. You watch it, you model it. At the end of the day, it's learning.
Exactly.
So the question is,
and so you know,
your excuse.
If you sit down and you observe and you pick up deficiencies, you can now tell yourself not to replicate those deficiencies.
Precisely outside the off stump, Thomas allows the ball to go through. That's the end of another over. In fact, another maiden over from Clinton Pestano, and he's ensuring that at least he keeps one end tight and allow the bigger guys to go for the blood. So 3 wickets for Shepherd, 1 for Virasamy Pamal, 1 for Joseph, who took the initial wicket. But just let's look at the Leeward's work after lunch. They went in on lunch at 68 for 1, and after lunch they really sort of fell apart. They lost Casey Carty for 28 at 83 for 2. Carty was caught Bramble off the bowling of Shepherd. Then they lost Akeem Saunders, LBW. He didn't even score.
No.
Plum LB at 105 for 4. Then Monson Hodge, who had gotten his 50 after a slow start, showed some intensity just before lunch.
Yes.
He was then caught by Chandra Paul off the bowling of Shepherd for 50. The score was then 100 and, well, in fact, he went at 101 for 3. The 4th wicket was Akeem Saunders, 105 for 4. And then Rakeem Cornwall came in and he was caught Bramble off the bowling of Pamal for 2 at 108 for 5. Since then, these two have added 40. And now we're seeing a change in bowling as it is in fact Moti who replaces Virasamy Pamal. He's played down to the short fine leg position by Orlando Peters, who moves to 9, gets a single. Keon Joseph Fields. And there was no run.
Do you pick up something there with the changing of the field now? Remember, Virasamy Pamal had bowled a few short deliveries which Devon pulled out to mid-wicket.
So hence, here is he getting a fuller delivery on the pads. Just glanced it off forward of the square leg umpire out to Pestano. Comes off the boundary, a single to Thomas. Yes, I think it's a good tactical move because Thomas, he swept, he pulled on the onside. The change of ball, a different trajectory you're getting from Moti Kanai than you were getting from Virasamy Pamal. This time is on the wicket, but he goes back and he plays it out to where's the cover fielder. And there is no run. So Virasamy Pamal would have had his work, but his work was not really as expected, perhaps from the Guyana captain. Here is Orlando Peters, who plays the ball to the backward point position, just really opening the face. And there was his work was not as expected. Yes. Had it been, he would have kept him on. And after he was really rattled in that over, in which he went for 14 from Thomas, the captain did the right thing and pull him out because you want to maintain cover on the game. Here is Peters playing the ball down, back to the bowler, and there is no run.
Yeah, it begs to ask the question, maybe that's the reason why he's not successful at the higher level, because better batsmen who put him under pressure now causes him to lose his shape as a bowler.
Peters comes forward and plays the ball into the offside. Trevor Griffith fields, no run. The over has been completed. The 150 for the Leewards, for the 150 for 5. So the 150 coming up after 49 overs. Thomas on 43, Peters on 9. And for a long while, I've been hearing you guys saying that the Leewards were going below 3 runs per over, which was bad. But I think Devon Thomas has really come in and he has made a difference.
Yeah, he's really been the spark after lunch for the Leeward's innings. And him still being there, I'm sure he's looking for a big score. I think for himself, he really wants a big score. And watching his approach at the wicket, he's looking for a big score this afternoon.
Well, he needs a big score because I'm going to tell you, a lot of people have written him off in some circles. But look at it, he's one of the finest batsmen in the West Indies. I will get back to that, as this time he pulls nicely. What a shot, so easily done. That one was going towards his pad and he pivoted on 1 foot and just really lifted it over the mid-wicket region. It went into the boundary under bounds, but he just played that so effortlessly. And when you look at this man, you see class, whether it's T20, 50 overs, or first-class cricket. I know he has wicket-keeping duties, but if he even had maybe not put that down in the past, he may have been a fixture in the West Indies team.
Certainly.
But whether or not, based on his quality, he's definitely in the top 3 of batsmen in the Caribbean rather easily. He would just need to keep scoring the runs. Here he faces up, and this time turns it nicely into the onside. He does not attempt the second, but was showing intent.
Exactly.
As though he wanted the second. Thomas moves to 40, is it 45 or 48?
48.
48, and the score up to 47. The reason why you heard that, the scoreboard is a bit away from us, and we have the glare of the sun on the screen here.
Yes, Seth, but just to comment on that pull shot, every time I see him play that pull shot off of that one leg, I remember I get visions of Gordon Greenwich playing that shot.
Here is Orlando Peters, though, faces up Pistana down the leg side. Well taken by Bramble. No harm that it won't be a wide. We're in first-class cricket and not limited overs cricket, so you can get away with that as a bowler. So speaking about Thomas, he came around and played for the West Indies early in the World Cup at age 19, and when Ian Chappell said that is class, just from 2 shots. And his wicket keeping they thought was a special talent. Then played a couple of matches outside the off stump. Orlando Peters allows the ball to go through, and then he really had not gotten an opportunity. I remember Roger Harper for his not only his intelligence, but for his wisdom, when he made a point when the West Indies later played here against Zimbabwe. He was saying they were going touring Zimbabwe, and he said, how did the West Indies leave out Devon Thomas and Jason Holder when they're going at the point when they needed grooming? But instead of, they chose some senior players after the World Cup, and since then it has been history as far as Thomas has been concerned as far as the West Indies. Here is Peters playing this one around into the onside. Tajiran Chandafall fields, and there is no one. But what is history should not remain history. He has the opportunity to make it more than history, and I know he has had some creditable performances. He scored 2 centuries during the last 4-day tournament.
Right.
He also had a winning innings against Trinidad and Tobago. Previously, he would have been thereabout. He would have played for the Jamaica team and then back with the Leeward's team. So good performances should be good for a player like him. This time, here is he, in fact, watching as Orlando Peters shoulders his arms, allowing the ball to go through to wicketkeeper Bramble. No harm done. No wicket. Vincey Boyne with the Leewards, 155 for 5. Midstream as far as wicket is concerned. Any projections?
Well, at this moment, I would not want to make any projections because the fall of 1 wicket here can definitely tilt the table in one way or the other. But if these 2 batsmen continue in the vein that they are batting, you could easily see maybe a 100-run partnership before you know it, and a 100-run partnership takes them up to around 200 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. That gives the Leewards a little more leverage and a little more of a platform to build a bigger innings.
So Thomas having to contend with Moti Kana. He gets a good delivery. He was shaping. It was a bit just short of a good length. He was shaping to pull, and then that one really turned, spun away from him, did the right thing. He pulled out of the shot.
Yes.
Here is Kanai to Thomas. Thomas is searching for that one, had the front foot thrusted well forward, playing the ball with an angle bat out towards the short cover position.
And what Kana is doing is bowling at a line, and he's flighting the ball a little more than per mile, and so he's getting a little more bounce and turn from the pitch.
Thomas gets a good one, but he plays it well out towards the fielder. Romario Shepherd coming off the long off boundary. He gets a single. He moves to 49, so he's one away from his half century, and he would really love to have it, and it's just free flowing. It looks like a different standard of batsmanship that you're seeing now than you have seen all day. It's though Orlando Peters, who is playing the anchor role, coming forward and plays the ball. They have brought Chanderpaul in at a silly mid-off position. Some would say silly point, silly mid-off position, and here is Orlando Peters, though, playing just calmly, tapping the ball down to back of the point for Chevron Griffith to field, and there is no run. So we are seeing a situation, Windward's Volcano, 199 for 9. They have really slid, but that's the game of cricket. We are not seeing big scores. Orlando Peters, on this occasion, plays the ball back up the track to be fielded by Christopher Barnwell. The score remains 156 for 5. Leeward Islands being sent into bat by Guyana. So we are seeing from that Imran Khan taking what? 6 for 45. The new Trinidad and Tobago captain Imran Khan. He has also been one of the players who has been around for a long time. We have spoken much about Rakeem Cornwall and his prospects, but also Imran Khan has been around for ages. But the advantage, I'm going to leave it to Rakeem Cornwall, is that he's not just an excellent spinner, but he is the best all-rounder in the Caribbean easily.
Yes, and
First delivery of a new over. They steal a single as this one is played away on the onside by Devon Thomas, and the batsman able to come through for 1. So it's 167, 157 for 5, 157 for 5.
yes, and we see here a partnership of 49 between Thomas and Peters, of which Thomas has totally dominated it.
Here we watch as this delivery is outside the line of the off stump, and just allowing it to go through is Orlando Peters. The ball from Prestano, not very quick delivery, but again, and like I said in the earlier part of the commentary, Prestano just trying to be consistent, keeping a steady line and length, and not necessarily somebody that is going to blast out batsmen. You tend to think that the batsman would have to really take risk with him and take a chance. Devon Thomas is on 50, is it?
Yes, he is.
And here's his edge in and caught that second slip is Orlando Peters. Just what I was talking about, a ball of a good length from Prestano, and he was looking to force it away. Thick, meaty edge found straight to the fielder at second slip. Just took it about chest high. That's the end of Orlando Peters. Just when we thought that the partnership was going to grow past 50, it ends at 49. The Leeward Islands Hurricane, they are now 157 for the loss of 6 wickets.
Yes, and again, we see there maybe a little lapse in concentration. The ball, again, Pestano just keeping it there or thereabouts, just about off stump line. Just a little bit short, bounced a little on Peters, and I think he was trying to force that away through the point region, but could only get a thick outside edge, which took it straight to second slip. Now, that is definitely a blow, because he was definitely, yes, he was playing the anchor role and he wasn't scoring quickly, but his stay is what caused Devon Thomas to build his innings and to build quite a brisk partnership while they were there in the middle. Now, what will happen is that they will have to regroup and start again. I think it might be Jeremiah Louis who will be joining him at the crease.
Looks as if it's Louis who's come out to the crease.
And he's a capable batsman. He had some good scores in the last game, and we're hoping that he can also continue to have positive and good scores for the team, because they certainly would need it this afternoon.
Certainly, they would want to get a good score. 157 for 6 suggests that it's not the biggest total that you would, not the type of total that the Leeward Islands team would have been thinking about last night when they were planning how they were going to approach this innings. They played today with what I consider a longer batting lineup because they replaced Terrence Ward, who I think was probably unfortunately criticized in the first game. Here is his delivery to the new batsman, who is Louis, and Louis comes forward and plays it back along the pitch for the bowler to field to his own bowling, and there was no run. He was really harshly criticized in Barbados and considered only as good as possibly a good club cricketer, even though he would have gotten 5 wickets in the second innings. And just to see him being left out after being a part of the winning, you would want to think whether or not the Leeward Islands camp was thinking about what the Bajan commentators and others had to say. This delivery is in the rib cage section of Jeremiah Louis. He was just covering up, working it down, was trying to work it on the onside, the ball move the handle of the bat and falling down into the offside field, and there is no run.
But another comment on Ward's bowling during the game, he seemed to get stronger as the game progressed in terms of his deliveries, getting some turn off of the pitch and so forth, in which he effected some wickets.
Here is his delivery up to Louis, and Louis stealing a single. Could be a chance for a run out, but ball not hitting, Chandler Paul not hitting. But if that one had been a direct hit, might have been very close for Jeremiah Louis. However, he gets off the mark, gets his first delivery and the first run, and the score is on to 157 for 6 at the end of that over. But a risky one there between Devon Thomas and Jeremiah Louis.
Yes, certainly a risky one, and especially considering the position of the game, you wouldn't want to lose a wicket unnecessarily through a run out.
Maybe it's a correction. I see that the scoreboard is now telling us that they've changed from Louis to Jacobs.
Oh, Damien Jacobs.
We have to
all right,
work with whatever the scoreboard tells us. We at their mercy. The scoreboard is now saying Jacobs. It was saying Louis first, now it's saying Jacobs, so we'll just work with them.
Yes, but in any case, the batsmen need to be a little more circumspect in taking singles. Plus, Devon Thomas may also have to consider that he's no longer running with Peters, who obviously responded to his cause positively. He has to now get a feel of who he's running with before he makes those takes those risky singles.
Thomas is there. He's on a half century. He's going to be off strike because that run was taken off the final delivery. And Guyana, they're now going to really put pressure on the batsman. There's a slip. There's a man at silly point, and there's a man at short leg point. Then there is cover, short extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, and a man at short fine leg. Here is this first delivery of a new over from Moti, and it's a quick delivery. The batsman coming forward almost like a pace bowler and pushing this one back along the pitch, and there is no run. That was a quick arm action by Moti. Here is he between the umpire and the stumps. This delivery, the batsman is sweeping and getting it down past the man at that short fine leg position. They're going to run back for the second run as Kian Joseph picks it up now. This has a throw back to wicketkeeper Bramble, and 2 more to the total. The Hurricanes on to 160 for 6. 3 is the new batsman. It says Jacobs. 50, Devon Thomas, who is now there on the non-striker's end. The batsman gets a delivery that he's covering up on about the off stump, both feet on the crease, playing it with all back along the pitch, and there is no run. 160 for 6. Moti in between the umpire and the stumps, and again this time it's a loud appeal. Not out, says the umpire. The batsman was looking to sweep this one again down on the leg side, the ball crashing into his pads. Not out, says the umpire. The Guyana Team went up there. The appeal was loud, but
Yes,
it didn't seem very convincing.
It looked like it was going down leg side, but that shot was a very ungainly looking shot. Looked like he intended to sweep, but then looked like he wasn't in position for the sweep and tried to paddle it around. If that ball had not been drifting down leg side, he would have been in some serious problems.
You're not missing any cricket. He just took the time to make an adjustment to his gear. So it's just Devon Thomas had walked all the way down from the non-striker's end to have a little chat with Jacobs as he's on 3. 160 for 6 is the total, as Moti is in his 5th over. 4.4 overs, no made, 16 runs, no wicket. Here is he in between the umpire and the stumps, in, and this delivery. The batsman comes long forward, playing it down in front of him, and there is no run.
Yes, and it seems as if that since the new batsman has come in, Moti has been a little flatter in his trajectory.
Here is this delivery driven up on the onside by Damon Jacobs, and he can't score. The end of the over has come up. At the end of it, 160 for 6. Jacobs is on 3, and Devon Thomas on 50.
Yes, and I think this is a point in the game where after having such a brisk partnership before Peters' dismissal, I think it's an opportunity now for Leeward Islands to, kind of hold back the reins, determine, hey, let's get in the eye of Jacobs. Let's slow it down a little, and then once they can do that, then they can start again to be a lot more positive as they were in the previous partnership.
And Devon Thomas's 50 came off 53 deliveries in 74 minutes, and he struck some 7 fours in that innings. Here we watch as this is Prestano into Devon Thomas outside the line of the off stump. Thomas just leans forward and allows the ball to go past the bat into the gloves of Bramble, and there is no run.
And if you notice what Prestano is doing, he's just keeping that fourth, fifth stump line and forcing. What he's doing, he's saying, I'm not going to come at you, you come at me. And in the case of Peters, he went at him and lost his wicket.
In the adjusted time, T will be at 3:30. Here we watch as this is Prestano in, and the batsman in Devon Thomas coming correctly forward, looking stylish as he plays this one out into the offside field, into the short extra cover region, and there's no run. He's 50. Devon Thomas came off 53 deliveries in 74 minutes, and he struck 7 fours. So he almost a runner ball 50. Very positive batting by him so far since he's come to the crease, and like I said, we have been saying all afternoon, he's not allowed himself to be bogged down, even though wickets were falling around him. Here is he allowing one to go by outside the line of the off stump again, just raising the bat in the air and watching the delivery from Prestano going to the gloves of Bramble, and there is no run.
Yes, and you could see at this stage of the game, he saw that kind of regrouped. He's saying, okay, you know what, we've lost another wicket, I've lost a valuable partner, and I'm not going to allow Prestano to lure me into his snare and maybe take the edge, have me caught behind. I'm going to play more circumspectly at this stage of the game.
Prestano is in and outside the line of the off stump, a little wider delivery than before. The ball just going by into the gloves of Bramble, and there's no run. When we look over into the stands, the few spectators, Jack said a few, the few spectators that are here are no doubt having healthy discussion about cricket. Some walk with their radios and listen to us on ABS radio right here in Antigua and Barbuda, and probably some streaming as well. We say good afternoon to them, and I'm sure they're going to give us a wave in just a short while to tell us that they're listening. Short delivery, Devon Thomas is trying to pull. He's going to get runs here. He got on top of it. Didn't time it well, but got a lot of bat in it, and it goes into the vacant mid-wicket boundary now for 4 runs. It was a short delivery from Prestano without too much pace on it, yes. And Thomas was almost early into the stroke. Got it on the bottom half of the bat, but he got enough bat into it for it to run into the boundary for 4.
Yes, and you can see now that with Thomas not being lured into his trap, he has brought the trap, if you want to call it that, to Thomas. Thomas was able to get his delivery, and he was able to pounce on it, capitalize, and get 4 I would say good-looking runs, but not necessarily one of his better strokes for the afternoon.
But he was effective. He waits again. He's on to 54. as he waits as Pestano begins to move in now. It's in and bowls to Thomas, and Thomas gets a good delivery. On the line of the off stump, just comes forward, plays it with the middle of the bat into the offside field, and there is no run. The end of the over has come up. At the end of it, the Leeward Islanders, they've moved on to 164 for 6.
Yes, 164 for 6, and you could call this somewhat of a slight recovery after the 4 quick wickets that they would have lost right after lunch. Romario Shepherd being the chief wicket taker at that point. I would not say he had a fiery spell, but he had an effective spell where he took those 3 wickets, and it sort of pegged Leeward's back somewhat. That 50-run partnership between Thomas and Peters, though, opened it up and gave Leeward somewhat of a better breathing room, and now they can now regroup and continue to build and hopefully build a bigger innings from here.
Start of a new over has the batsman in hustling to play that stroke. That's Jacobs. Hustling, being hustled by that delivery from Moti. He's in, and again, this time on the line of the leg stump, and the batsman comes quietly forward and plays it back along the pitch, and there is no run.
Now, it's interesting that Moti is bowling to Jacobs and he's pushing them through, but when the other 2 batsmen were batting, he was flighting it a little bit more.
Here is he coming in to Jacobs, and Jacobs is again just playing defensively, allowing the ball to hit the bat and falling into the onside, and there is no run.
I'm wondering if he's thinking that Jacobs is not as accomplished a batsman as the other 2, and he believes he can just knock him over.
Yes, hustle him out. He starts and stops. The Moti begins to move in now. He's in, and Jacobs comes forward correctly and just pushes the ball back along the pitch for Rosie to pick up with his left hand, and there is no run.
But Moti can...
Here is he in, and this delivery, the batsman is driving back along the pitch. Moti Khan fields his own bowling, and there is no run.
So far, Jacobs has looked quite comfortable out there.
He surrounded Jacobs, though. Here is the delivery, short of a length, and Jacobs easily plays this one back along the pitch for the bowler to feed to his own bowling, and there is no run. A maiden over bowl, is it correct? Yes,
yes.
A maiden over bowled by Gutikesh Moti Khan, and the Leeward Islands remain on 164 for 6 at the end of that over. Devon Thomas on 54 and Jacobs on 3.
Yes, and Jacobs looking quite comfortable despite the amount of pressure that has been put on him. Short fine leg or leg slip, a forward short leg, a silly point, short cover, and I guess they're thinking that they will be able to take his wicket by applying the pressure. He has so far stood up to the challenge, and he's given Devon Thomas the opportunity to continue to fight for the Leewards as the captain and lead by example.
Thomas has sent in his helmet, as it's going to be a double spin attack for the Guyanese. Looks as if it's going to be Pramal who's going to come from the northern end. Before this, he has 11 overs, 3 maidens, 40 runs, 1 wicket, and that 1 wicket being the very important wicket of Rakeem Cornwall, who he had caught behind for 2. His first delivery is outside the line of the off stump, and Devon Thomas almost follows the ball, just watches it as it goes right into the gloves of Bramble.
And here we could see him starting early with the deep mid-wicket.
Here we watch as he's in, and covering up is Devon Thomas and playing it into the offside field for the short extra cover fielder to pick up, and there is no run.
In his earlier spell, Thomas executed a few pull shots through the mid-wicket region, and so he is sought to protect himself on that mid-wicket boundary.
Thomas gets a quicker delivery that he plays into the offside field, and again there is no run. So Pramal getting through his over very quickly. Here is he in to bowl to Thomas, and Thomas is using his feet and driving out to the long off region. The fielder comes in off the boundary, picks up cleanly, and the batsmen are able to come through for a run.
Yes, good use of the feet there, just to push it out to deep mid-on, exploiting the spaces in the field that have been given to him. I think that's one of the things that's lacking now with some of our West Indian batsmen, and is that ability to use their feet to get out to the spin bowler and
It's just the ability to bat spin. They're not confident at all when it comes to spin. And now Jacobs has been surrounded. I'll give it a feel after this delivery. This one is, he's just watching it outside the line of the off stump, reading it well and allowing it to go into the gloves of Bramble. He has 2 slips, a man at silly point and also a man at short leg as Pramal is in, and Jacobs is beaten by a good delivery outside the line of the off stump. The wicketkeeper takes it and flicks it up into the air, and there is no run. Looks as if they're going to take tea, so we might have been told differently, but we see that the Guyana team is going off, so it's tea on day 1 here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. The Guyanese would be happy because after lunch they were able to pick up 5 wickets from the Leeward Islands team. Damien Jacobs remains at tea on 3, Devon Thomas on 55, and so after the luncheon interval, Carty went for 28, Munson Hodge went for 50, Sanders went without scoring, Cornwall went for 2, and Orlando Peters went for 9. The Guyanese getting 5 wickets, and really the wrecker after the luncheon interval was Shepherd, who picked up 3 quick wickets, and then Pramal got that wicket of Raheem Cornwall, and Kian Joseph had earlier, before lunch, bowled out Chandrika, and so the Leeward Islands go at lunch at 165 for 6, 165 for 6 at tea, at tea, on this, the first day of this 4-day encounter between the Leeward Islands Hurricane and the Guyana Jaguars. The Leeward Islands, they are 165 for 6. Devon Thomas, he is on 55 not out, and Damien Jacobs on 3 not out. We'll take a short break for about 20 minutes or so, and then they will rejoin us for more coverage after the tea interval.